Another round of light snow heading toward parts of central and eastern Kentucky. We'll put a track on and tell you what to expect coming up.
The state gives an update on its response to the winter storm, plus how communities are dealing with low water supplies due to the cold weather.
I got a call and they're like, do you want to come to LA and audition for The Amazing Race? And I'm like, sure, why not?
A Kentucky man goes on an amazing adventure and millions of people are about to see it.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5.
Pretty obvious, winter just will not loosen its grip on this state.
And we are keeping an eye on more snow set to arrive in the area possibly tomorrow. We begin with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey tracking what's heading our way.
Yeah, another glancing blow of snow to parts of the Bluegrass State on the way late Wednesday and especially Wednesday night into Thursday morning with a snowstorm that is likely across parts of the Deep South. Yes, winter just continues to do its thing around here. Here's the system that we're tracking across parts of Texas now, just beginning to crank up a little bit, being infused by an upper level disturbance coming in behind it. That's just a fancy way of saying it's got a lot of energy coming with it. It's going to roll across the south and will throw some moisture into Kentucky, especially Wednesday night. Best snow chance will be across the southern and eastern parts of the area. And as always, anytime it seems like around here you get within 24 hours of the storm system, it slowly begins to show up a little farther north on those computer models. We will see if that's a trend that holds here in the final 24 to 30 hours before that system works into town. As of now, nothing going on this evening. Yeah, you may see a passing flurry tonight at some point, but overall it's not too bad out there with temperatures dropping toward the 20-degree mark by 11 o'clock or so. Now, coming up with a focus on the forecast, we'll be on that Wednesday night snowmaker across parts of the area. I'll break down who has the best chance of picking up a few more inches of snow before we get set to close the book on February. And guys, we will take a peek into the first few days of March. That's looking ugly as of right now. That's coming up in a little over 10 minutes from now.
All right, Chris, thank you. The next round of snow comes as the state continues to recover from last week's winter weather.
Today, the governor took time to update the work that's been done so far and the problems still facing Kentucky. WKYT's Victor Puente is live now in Frankfort with our top story at 5. Victor?
Well, Governor Steve Beshear went to the state's Emergency Operations Center for a briefing earlier today. He said the biggest problem facing the state has gone from trying to get frozen water off the road to trying to get water flowing to eastern Kentucky. The Division of Emergency Management is still tracking the impact of last week's storm. The state of emergency is still in effect, and Governor Beshear said he's extending the anti-price gouging and emergency pharmacy orders he issued last week. He said the nature of the problems had changed. Last week, travel was the biggest issue, as Kentucky drivers had to deal with all that snow. Now it's a lack of water. Burst pipes and dripping faucets have led to 14 counties facing water outages. The state has been purchasing hundreds of thousands of gallons of water to begin distributing to those counties.
We have never had to develop our own supply chain for water, but because we had been involved in chains before that did the same thing, we were able to put that together quickly, and people are getting the drinking water they need and will continue to get that until their own systems are back up and running.
Beshear said that state of emergency will remain in effect as long as it's needed and until people's lives are back to normal. Live in Frankfort, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The Kentucky Department of Health says that the storm is directly responsible for 3 deaths and indirectly responsible for 10 more.
Clark County is one of several communities dealing with a water shortage due to the weather. Winchester Municipal Utilities customers have been asked to conserve water because supplies have dipped too low. WKYT's Sam Smith shows us how people are dealing with the situation.
Everyone here is asked to do their part so the water tank levels here can return back to normal. It's all because a lot of water was being used. Water line breaks in the city, in homes, and in businesses. Plus, folks dripping their faucets have increased the overall water usage. Now folks are asked to scale back a bit for the next couple of days until levels are back to normal.
What's essential, what's non-essential. At this point in time, it's definitely essential, bathing and getting up and doing the normal things you do of a day, but there's things that you can do to conserve.
I talked to a daycare director that's doing that by having kids drink from bottled water instead of the drinking fountain. They're also only flushing the urinals after every boy gets a chance to use it, instead of after every time. Hand washing is operating as normal, though, because of mandated guidelines.
But basically what we're trying to do is eliminate as many flushes as we can and trying to preserve the water fountain that we have and just use the bottled water.
To get an idea of how much water is being used right now, I'm told water usage is up 1 million gallons compared to what's normal. In Winchester, Sam Smith, WKYT.
More bottled water will be delivered to Kingdom Kids tomorrow. There is no boil order for the county right now. Estill County has opened a water distribution center to help people who have little or no water service. The center opened at 1 this afternoon. It is a drive-through distribution point. People need to have their water bill or account number with them to receive water. And dozens of schools will be closed again tomorrow because of the winter weather. You can find the complete list on WKYT.com. A call to a car rental company out of state leads to a lockdown at several schools.
That caller made a threat against students in Danville. And as Sean Moody shows us, police quickly locked down the schools and they eventually located a teenage suspect.
A 15-year-old student here at Boyle County High School is charged with terroristic threatening. Danville police said the situation began hundreds of miles away from here. Danville police said they got a call around 9:25 this morning from an employee at an Enterprise Rent-A-Car in St. Louis, Missouri. They say that employee told them someone had called them and said he had a busload of children outside an elementary school here in Danville and would start shooting if he wasn't paid $5,000 in ransom money. That sent schools across Danville and Boyle County into lockdown mode while police tried to figure out what was going on. Danville police said the Enterprise employee gave them a phone number that they traced back to a home in Boyle County. They arrested a 15-year-old boy from Boyle County High School, charging him with terroristic threatening.
Given that tragic events like this have happened, it's not funny. If you're on the receiving end of that, if you're a parent of one of the children in the community, or you're going to take that serious, and it's going to scare you.
The Boyle County School District put out a statement acknowledging the incident. They referred all questions to the Danville Police Department. In Danville, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Now, police say there was no specific connection to the St. Louis business, but they tell us the boy called an 800 number and was routed there. Union College held a memorial this morning for the victim of a triple murder. Sarah Hendricks led the social work department of the college since 2012. Police say that her 16-year-old son Jason killed her, her husband, and their daughter on February 11th. He died in a shootout with police in Baltimore, Maryland a few days later. Hendricks' students filled a campus chapel for this morning's service.
We never know why things like this happen, and I don't have any trite religious answers. I think part of the spiritual tradition is to wrestle with these kind of questions, and we're still wrestling.
Union College has opened a room in the Fine Arts Building as a place for those who want to write a memory or leave a message for the Hendricks family.
A group gathered at the state capitol this morning to push for payday loan reform. The Kentucky Baptist Fellowship and several other groups joined together in support of Senate Bill 32. The bill targets high interest rates that payday loan businesses impose on customers.
Faith leaders and others are joining together, bridging theological divides, ideological, racial, and political divides to work together for reform.
The proposal would delete a service fee of $15 per $100 loan and set a maximum interest rate of 36%.
A commuter train crash injured 30 people near Los Angeles this morning. The train hit a tractor trailer on the tracks before derailing. The truck driver took off afterward but was later arrested. Officials say the train crews saw the truck and tried to slow down as much as they could before hitting it. George Zimmerman will not face federal civil rights charges in the shooting death of Trayvon Martin. The department announced the decision today, saying there is not enough evidence to prove the shooting was racially motivated. Zimmerman shot Martin during a confrontation in Sanford, Florida back in 2012. He claimed self-defense, and a jury acquitted him of criminal charges the next year.
President Obama vetoed a bill to begin construction on the Keystone XL pipeline today. The White House sent notice of the veto to the Senate shortly after receiving the bill. It is the third veto of President Obama's time in office. The pipeline would carry Canadian oil to the Gulf Coast. Senate Republicans say they will no longer try to stop President Obama's actions on immigration using a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Lawmakers need to pass a bill to fund the department or risk shutting it down. Instead, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has introduced a standalone bill to block immigration changes.
My preference remains with the legislation that's already passed the House. It's still the simplest way forward. But as long as Democrats continue to prevent us from even debating that bill, I'm ready to try another way.
Congress has until Friday to fund the Department of Homeland Security. If they don't, 30,000 employees will be furloughed, while essential employees will have to work without pay. A Northern Kentucky man is about to be in the national spotlight as he races around the world on the CBS reality show, The Amazing Race.
Jennifer Palumbo's here with his story that's new at 5. And Jennifer, this sounds like what an adventure.
It really is. Kurt Jordan Belcher is from Butler. The Pendleton County man had traveled a lot for work, but he'd never been outside the United States. So he jumped at the chance to see the world and compete for the $1 million prize.
A special season of The Amazing Race sends couples on amazing adventures in a race to the finish line. 11 dating couples race around the globe. Woo! The new season features Kurt Jordan Belcher. The 24-year-old makes a living helping beauty pageant contestants compete for titles, and he jumped at the chance to compete for a title of his own.
And next thing you know, I got a call and they're like, do you want to come to LA and audition for The Amazing Race? And I'm like, sure, why not?
But there's a twist this season. It's a special dating edition. 5 teams will meet right here on the starting line.
Look how handsome you are.
For the most extreme blind dates ever. And Belcher's teammate is someone he'd never met.
So I'm thinking, okay, blind dating on TV, sure, I'll do that. But then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, traveling around the world with somebody you've never met before. Now, that's crazy.
Kurt Jordan Belcher and Bergen Olsen from California are one of 5 blind dating teams competing against 6 dating couples.
I don't think you can really prepare yourself for the race. You can get yourself in the best shape of your life, but that's not going to matter. You just have to mentally be prepared to expect anything and be prepared for anything, because that's what makes the race exciting.
Belcher is not allowed to talk about his experience on the show, but now that he's back in Kentucky, it's the talk of his small hometown of Butler.
The community's been great. I mean, they are just going ballistic right now. And once my interview on CBS came out and I had something that I guess has been like branding myself now, I said I had the testosterone of a man with the wrath of a woman. So everybody's hashtagging Feel the Wrath now, hashtag Team Kurt. So.
Hashtag Team Kurt. Well, Belcher says he hopes this isn't the last time he's on reality TV. His dream is to have his own show that focuses on his work with beauty pageant contestants. It'll be fun to see how he does. Jennifer Palumbo, WKYT.
Thank you, Jennifer. And you can follow Belcher's progress on The Amazing Race right here on WKYT. The season premiere is tomorrow night at 9:30 on CBS.
It is time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. A recall alert today for Cadillac owners. General Motors is recalling 67,000 ATS sedans from the 2013 to 2015 model years. They want to fix a problem with the power sunroof controls. GM found the problem while testing the 26 models last month. Dealers will fix the cars for free. A study finds a growing number of big box stores might be part of the reason for America's growing waistline. Researchers say cheaper, more readily available food makes people eat more. While buying in bulk might be less expensive for you, there's a long-term negative consequence for all of us. Annual cost of people dying from obesity-related causes adds up to about $190 billion a year. Pregnancy can be a stressful time for expectant mothers. Susan Hendricks shows us the best way to manage it.
Stress is completely normal for pregnant women. In fact, pregnancy itself may be one of the reasons you feel so stressed out.
It's really possible that just being pregnant could be increasing your stress. Physically, your heart is working much more than normal. It's almost like jogging, just sitting there, because your heart is pumping so much. Your heart rate's faster, so you're automatically at a heightened state.
Pregnant or not, too much stress is not a good thing for our bodies. But the jury's still out on whether or not a woman's stress level affects the fetus.
In pregnancy, it's not so clear-cut. We're not sure that that stress is harmful, although it can make your pregnancy a lot tougher. There is some data that potentially says that kind of stress can increase your risk for a smaller baby and also preterm labor.
You can manage stress in a variety of ways.
A couple things that can help, relaxation techniques, whether that's a hot cup of tea or a warm bath or learning true breathing techniques can help you.
And don't be afraid to ask for help. Tell someone just how stressed you're feeling. I'm Susan Hendricks.
Dr. Reddy also recommends taking time for yourself by going to a movie, on a walk, or by finding a quiet place to get away. Home prices were on the rise in 2014. The S&P Case-Shiller Index showed home prices in 20 major U.S. cities rose 4.5% last year. The increase isn't as good as 2013 when home prices went up 13%. For more health, education, and consumer news, go to WKYT.com and click on Better Living.